Hey, how's it going? So, quick story time. So, I was in Hobbytown, right, and I'm just looking at kits and supplies and things like that. And I look in the glass display case, and there's this Star Wars kit, this Boba Fett Slave One. It turned out to be the one from Revell. I liked it. I liked the size of it, and I looked into getting it. I bought the Revell version. I bought the AMT version. Both larger scales. Their cockpits are completely different, but they're close in size. But when I researched it, I saw that there's a better one by Finemolds, and I did build and paint that, and it looks incredible, and it's massive, and I love it. Unfortunately, I didn't make a video of that, but building that kit has made me want to build more Star Wars kits. I haven't seen Star Wars since I was a kid, so I'm definitely interested in watching again. I feel like every time I work on a kit from a franchise, it makes me interested in that franchise. That's how I got into Gundam models. It wasn't even the anime, it was the kits. Because I didn't get to catch a lot of the anime as a kid. It was so complex that if you miss an episode, you miss a lot. So it wasn't until I was older that I got to see it. But that's usually how it goes with me. Or if I, like with the Max, I loved the Max comics as a kid. And so it made me want to read them again. And now, building these kits has made me want to watch Star Wars again. If there's a version of the Blu-ray or something that you think is superior, let me know. Definitely looking into buying them in the future. Don't know about the newest trilogy. I hear it's pretty bad. But yeah, anyway, it got me interested, and so now I'm building this X-Wing kit, also by Finemolds. One thing I like about these is they all have display bases that are similar, so they go together, you know, and I love the scale, because that Boba Fett ship takes up almost the entire height of the top shelf of my glass display cases. It's huge, and it's noticeable, and it looks like professionally, like I absolutely love it. And I did buy the Jango Fett version. I bought 2 of them, because the cockpit's different, and I might redo it at some point. I might build the Jango Fett version. Haven't fully decided, but I probably will at some point, and if I do, I'll put that on here. And it's possible I might show you how I did the Boba Fett color scheme as well for his ship. Haven't fully decided again, but today we're going to start with Star Wars with this X-Wing. Okay, so let's start with the unboxing, and yes, that is the Vampirella Jose Gonzalez kit. That's going to be a video we'll do in the future. So first we have, oh man, there's so much nice detail on this. I miss building mechanical kits. But yeah, lots of parts for the engines. Looks like these 2 might go on the wings. I don't know enough about the ship to really explain, but I know these are the guns. And then, yeah, it looks like the thrusters and jets and everything. Look at that beautiful detail though. Ooh. This is gonna be fun painting. Most of this one will be spray paint because, well, this is the kind of kit I would use that for. This is just a duplicate runner. Now here we have parts for the wings, right? Again, lots of nice detail. Beautiful looking wings. And there we have a seated pilot and standing pilot. I want to show you the detail on there, like really show you. It's hard to bring it up on camera, but it's very, very nicely detailed. It doesn't look as good on camera. It looks much better in person, it really does. And here's part of the cockpit here. You can see. It's hard to see on camera again, but there's instrument details on the side, and that's part of the seat there. And I guess this is the cap on the end of the kit. This is the part where the R2-D2, or there's another one it comes with, I forget the name, but that will go in there, and this goes on top. Again, I'm loving all that intricate detail. Ooh. Again, with the wings, a ladder, because you could put it in with the landing gear down and a ladder going into it. I'm either, so it says not to glue it, so I'm either going to make it swappable with and without landing gear, or I might use magnets. I haven't decided. And then here we have the nose of the ship, the fuselage. Gorgeous looking. That's of course where the front landing gear will go. That's where the cockpit will go, obviously. And then we have 2 runners for the stand. Now I already did the Boba Fett kit. Unfortunately, I didn't do any video of that, but I do have the Jango Fett ship. I got 2 of them, so I might do that one and then use the second one to show you how I did the Boba Fett colors. We'll see. I haven't decided. And of course, these are the other parts for the stand. Now, last but not least, we have our clear parts and polycaps. So you could have the cockpit open or closed. The open version is in 2 pieces. So it's hard to see, but the back piece will be normal, and then this piece will be propped up. Then there's the one that's a single piece. That is probably the one I'm going to use. I might make those swappable too, honestly. But yeah, and then here we have our decals. This makes like 4 or 5 different ones. I researched it a bit. So the red 5 is the Luke Skywalker one, but it also makes like, I think 3 others. I don't think it makes all 5. But some of these are you know, damaged up, pre-weathered, which is nice. And some of them are slightly different. So like you could see with these ones, there are 3 of these stripes on each side. These ones have 5. This one has 5 as well. Huh. Okay, maybe the other ones all have 5. But yeah, you got the top part of your R2-D2. That's such a tiny decal. I mean, look, this itty bitty. We have parts for the instrument panel here. The details, it'll be inside the cockpit. I think this is for the other R2. And then just little bits of odds and ends. These are for the standing figures of the R2s. I did show them in the parts. I just don't know which parts they are because they are in pieces. They're not like a single piece like the pilot. And then these are the insignia that will go onto, so hard to see, onto the helmet of the pilot. And then of course these are for the stand, right? So yeah. Anyway, it's a beautiful kit. I'm excited to get started. Again, it'll be mostly spray paint, but yeah, this is going to be nice. Not as big as the Boba Fett ship that I did. That thing is massive, and I love it. It looks great. And the Jango Fett one has a completely different cockpit, different color scheme, which, I mean, honestly, it's just a matter of painting. And then some different pieces here and there. The main thing I liked about it was the different cockpit, so I'm looking forward to that eventually. Anyway, let's get started with the build. So I started off sanding everything down and preparing it for painting. Again, I love the detail on this kit, and it's definitely got me interested in watching Star Wars, because like I said, I haven't seen it since I was a kid, and now I'm really interested. This R2-D2 head, though, I mean, it takes so many decals, so I wound up having to use my Mr. Mark softer, and I love how much detail the cockpit has, too. Now I'm moving on to the guns, and not too many parts, but still just enough, you know, to keep the build going. And again, a lot of beautiful detail and raised surfaces and grooves and little bits and pieces. It goes together simply enough. And I'm just going to go over some highlights of the painting process, like after painting and top coating, using the panel line accent color by Tamiya to bring out the lines. By the way, all the colors I use are going to be listed in the description, all neatly organized for you for easy access. I really like the instrument panel because it has 3 decals for like the controls and the screens and everything. It looks really good. But again, itty bitty, teeny tiny. For the seat, I wound up going with Balor Brown just because I figure it's a padded seat. I want to give it that kind of lighter color. I want it to stand out and be noticeable, you know. I don't want it to all be blended with blacks and grays. I wanted something with some color to it, you know. But yeah, it's coming out really good. Really happy with this. And I used Wild Rider Red and Moot Green and Calgar Blue for the controls. I just kind of winged it and just kind of picked my own colors and put it wherever, because this doesn't really match the mechanical information I found, if that's the way to word it. And I used Corvus Black for parts of the uniform with the piping and everything. I did research this to find out the color scheme. And then, you know, of course, I used Pallid Witch Flesh for the white on the vest and for the helmet. I didn't use the decals on the helmet, though. I tried, and they were really hard to work with. My usual Kislev Flesh for the skin. I wound up going with the Wild Rider Red for the visor to make it darker than the suit itself. And I wound up using Fire Dragon Bright for that. Had to do a couple coats, but it looks really good. And then a Reichling Flesh Shade wash after the fact, just to bring those out a little better. And I probably should have done this before the decals, but I wound up putting some Leadbelcher on the thrusters. Alright, so now we're going to do our water slide decal tutorial, and here's what you'll need. You'll need tweezers to handle the decal. You'll need an X-Acto knife to cut the decals off the sheet. I'm using a different kit for this. Tamiya TS13 Clear is the gloss coat I use. You want to gloss coat your kit first, both to protect the paint job from the decal solution and make it easier for the decal to move around. Mr. Mark's Setter helps the decal adhere to the kit. Mr. Mark's Softer is more for rounded surfaces to thin the decal so it adheres better. Cotton swabs to move around the larger decals, and toothpicks for the smaller ones. Now, this is coming up already. I've noticed an issue with these Star Wars decals. They are quite prone to tearing because they are very old, but you see how that's moving around easily like that? That's how you know it's ready. You don't want any resistance on the piece, okay? Because if there's resistance, if it's not moving around that easy and you have to pull, it's not ready, and it's more likely to tear. So now I'm going to take my gloss-coated piece. I'm going to put some Mr. Mark's Setter on it. I had already put some on earlier. And then I'm going to take this decal, and I have to be very careful with this because, like I said, these are old and quite prone to tearing. I want to kind of try to hold the decal in place with the cotton swab and pull the paper out. I'm trying not to pull at the decal, but pull at the paper. However, that is a little difficult because of the lack of ability to hold the piece in place. If I could just get this on there just a little better. Oof, yeah, this is tough. See, oh, look, it already tore. That's okay. We're going to fix that since luckily we have all of the pieces of that decal on here. But see, this is what I mean. They're quite prone to tearing. Okay, and we're going to slide that back into place so it's nice and perfectly in line. Now this is a little trickier because you got to line it up just right so that it's, you know, there's the same amount of space on top and bottom. You want it to be centered, obviously. And we're going to just kind of maneuver that decal back into place. And there we are. Now, oh, that's still a little off. Let's try right there. Okay. And then that should do nicely. Now what you want to do after this is you want to get all the water out from underneath the decal. Otherwise, it's going to be hard for the decal to adhere properly. So we take our dry cotton swab, and you want to apply pressure and turn the cotton swab. You do not want to tug at the decal. You'll destroy it. So apply pressure and just turn it over it. Don't risk pushing or pulling, okay? Now watch this. I'm going to show you. Oof, this is a tough one. But basically, you want to roll out. And it's hard to see on camera, but it'll push that water underneath the decal out, and you'll see it kind of, you'll see the water leaving the decal from underneath. It's kind of cool, but it's hard to see on camera. You kind of have to be close up to see that. But I'm going to get all that water out from underneath first, okay? All right. I can kind of still see some. Get just as much of it as I can, you know. It's okay if you get up some of that Mark Setter as well. It's not really the end of the world. This actually has to be moved over a tiny bit more. There we go. Now, after you've done that, you want to take, normally we'd only use Mark Softer. You know what? I won't use it just because it's not necessary. Mark Softer goes over curved and round pieces. Let me see if I can find a piece as an example. So here's an extra X-Wing I have, right? Let's say you have a decal that needs to go over this. There aren't, but if you did, you would use Mr. Mark Setter under, then the decal, then you would use Mr. Mark Softer. When you use the softer, you need it to dry for at least 24 hours. I don't mean the next morning, 24 hours minimum, preferably 48 if you can. Because you'll see slowly, it'll crinkle up, which is okay. That just means it's thinning out. It'll straighten out and smooth out later, but do not touch it while it's wet. Do not touch it until it's fully cured, because if you do, you will destroy the decal. It'll make it super thin and super fragile. But after you use that, you'll notice, so like see how this piece has some grooves in it, things like that? That decal will sit inside of those. So you'll see those lines in the decal, like it'll adhere completely. And once it's fully dry, then you want to hit it again with that gloss coat. Again, this is TS13 Clear by Tamiya. You can use any gloss coat you like. And that will protect the decal. So the first layer of gloss coat protects the kit and the paint job. The second coat of gloss coat protects the decal. And then because of that, if you use that, then I do 2 coats for each if you could. When you do that, you'll be able to do your washes over it, weathering, all that, and it'll protect it for you. So there we are with the decal attached. Even though it was torn, you could barely tell. It looks great. But yeah, like I said, these Star Wars ones are very prone to tearing because these are very old kits. You see how there's some wrinkles in there? Yeah, once this is done, those will be completely gone. So, yeah. But yeah, and so that is our water slide decal tutorial. Next up, we're going to show the finished kit.